Good morning. Happy Friday. Today is jump squats, push-ups, and burpees and abs. And I'm going to continue on with the conversation from yesterday about conflict and have an invitation related to that again. Not the same invitation, but related to it. Here we go. Okay. So, conflict. Yesterday I mentioned a little bit about the reticular activating system. The things that are great about every individual, their strengths, as you would call it. All of us have strengths, and that's where we have grown stronger to truth. Some of us use our strengths and then turn them towards bad things. And usually there's a reason that we do that too. So it's when we slow down our lives enough to realize that conflict isn't bad. It's just, conflict is not bad. It's an expression for us. It's a way for us to understand that we're all different. But why? Why are we different? That's the beautiful process, is because when, instead of running away from conflict, and thinking that conflict is a thing of hate, or anger, you can start to realize that conflict is an opportunity to understand another person. So, forget what I was doing with my fingers there. Conflict is an opportunity to understand another person, and the deeper we can understand someone, the greater we can love them. Life is about being loved and loving others in ways of truth, not in ways of getting what you want, not in ways of selfishness, not in ways of corruption, greed, power, evil, but genuinely coming to understand another person, to understand why they think the way that they do. And you don't have to appreciate the way that they are. It's simply understanding. And when you get to understand someone for why they're strong at something or why they struggle with something, then you get to know them on a deeper level, and that deeper level allows a stronger connection. The stronger the connection, then the easier it is to have compassion and empathy and even simply understanding and knowing why they need help from a doctor, because they're really messed up in the head. But you can't understand that without first trying to understand the individual. And you can't understand them without truly loving them first. So take the judgment that you have, set it aside. Love other individuals as much as you love yourself, enough to listen and try to understand. And this might be a stranger, it might be a coworker, it might be your spouse, your kid, your parent. I'll tell you 3 of my 2 strengths, 1 weakness that I have, all because my mother died when I was young from cancer. Now, interestingly, I don't hate cancer. Cancer is simply part of life. But at 1 strength, an insane level of resiliency. She always wrote me the story of the little engine that could. And I was the runt of the family. I'm the little guy. I've got a really big family, and I'm bigger people than me, and I'm the little guy. So it was, you can do anything. Just keep plugging away at it. And don't quit, don't quit, don't quit. Get to the top of that mountain and then enjoy the ride down. So, resiliency. Second thing, actually I'm going to say 3 good things. The third good thing kind of ties into the 1 bad thing. So resiliency, Um, a great appreciation for physical health. Even when she was battling cancer, she saw the value of physical exercise, of the best diet that you can have. And when she was given 6 months to live, but lived close to a decade, I think that those things had a lot to do with it. Her resiliency and determination, and her physical health, her desire to be physically strong every day, to put something in. Those two things were huge. Now, the third thing that she gave me that was good was family. A strong tie to family, and the knowledge that families can be together forever, eternally. However, families and relationships go closely together. That doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean. Now, the bad thing is, I took that last thing with family relationships, and I was so close to her that I noticed that after her passing, after her death, I became more resistant to connecting with people on a relationship level. I became more resistant to forming a strong friendship or anything like that. And so even my wife is close to me, but after 23 years, I still keep her a little bit at a distance. And I think it's because, and I do this with all of my friends, and I'm slowly working to overcome this. Well, I shouldn't say slowly. I'm quickly overcoming it as I understand it more and more. But that I came to understand myself, that I did that I keep people away. I'll get to know them superficially, but not at a deeper level, simply because I don't want to get to know someone really, really well and then have them die again and lose them like I lost my mom. In reality, everybody dies. You lose everybody. And why shortchange life, etc. So I've got my own stories about how to fix that, but just understand, please, that I have something negative that came out of that, but the situation was not the problem. If anything, I could have told myself the story. That's the reason why I should have strong relationships with everybody, because I don't know how long they'll be around. But I didn't. I took the other approach. And so for a couple things, 3 things, I took a great approach. They've made me stronger. They've made me a greater individual. But on the 4th one, I took a negative approach. And so I have to change that. But if someone came to me and said, you need to change this about yourself, if I was going to a psychiatrist and they said, this is probably what it is, you need to change yourself, I would struggle with that. But because I found it on my own, because I was hunting for it and looking for it, kind of like that backpacking or bikepacking trip the other day when we were bushwhacking and lost and we eventually found the trail. It felt so good to find that trail. Whereas if someone said, hey, look, man, the trail's right up there, just go get it, I might have sat down and said, oh, I'm tired, made it a big excuse. When you're hungry for something, you'll go after it. When you really want to know something, you'll go after it. But understand the why. There's so much power in understanding that why. Let's get to number 2. Round 2. Okay. So, my invitation. Will you please come to the realization that most conflict is not going to find resolution, and that's okay. It's invitation number one. Invitation number two. Will you please open up your head and your heart to realize that not everything you think is true. That there are things you still need to learn. Number three, will you please love and respect other people, no matter how self-righteous they might seem, or bigoted, or evil, corrupt, misguided, whatever. Will you please love and respect them enough to understand where they're coming from, to understand their stories, to understand where they're currently at. I promise you, if you do those things, you'll end up with a deeper connection with all sorts of people. Your heart and your mind will be opened a little bit, and you will actually gain more truths out of it. But a warning, you will be exposed to more corruption, more lies, more darkness. The two will go hand in hand. Will you open up to that? It's going to require that you be stronger than you currently are. Most importantly, out of all of it, will you be open to more truth? In every conflict, both people, both groups, whatever it is, have some truth. One could have all the truth and the other could have none. Some could have a lot and the other have a little. Both could have a lot and be missing a little. Conflict comes from the things that we're missing, the truths that we're missing. Will you open up to more truth? And go through your episodes of conflict with respect and love towards the other person, towards their ability and their God-given right to choose. Even if it is to choose evil or wrong or lies, whatever. It's their right. Just like it's your right to stand up and live truth and to speak it, to share it. It doesn't do any of us any good to have a right if we don't do something about it. So, particularly if it's a right that bends us towards living more truth. So, those are my invitations today that are associated with conflict. I promise that as you go through, if you accept my invitations and you go through conflict without trying to avoid it, but to approach it, if it's someone that you're really close to, when you're not in the middle of a heated argument, when you're not in the middle of conflict, talk about how you will navigate conflict when it comes. Talk about how you will try to understand each other, try to understand each other's stories. Then, instead of running from conflict, hiding from conflict, you'll embrace the experience as a part of life and both sides will grow. But most importantly, if you go into it with a desire to understand, love, and respect the other person and their freedom to choose, then your relationship can grow deeper. When it grows deeper, then you have a stronger connection. With that stronger connection, if you want someone to embrace more truth at some point in their future, they're more likely to embrace it because you have a stronger connection than they are because you got in their face and yelled at them and left them at some point. So do not run from conflict. That's it on those invitations. And be okay with conflict not having a resolution. That's normal. All right, number 3, and we're done. Oh. Okay, I'm realizing as I'm working out here and finishing my last set, conflict. Sometimes conflict becomes physical. When it goes from theoretical, personal lifestyle choices that don't have an impact on other people, meaning you do what you do behind your own walls, when it gets to the point that it is out there and impacting the world around us in a negative way. You know that phrase, by their fruits you shall know them? By their fruits. If the results are leading to things that are bad, that are harmful, that are destructive to relationships, to families, to lives, then this is no longer a subject of conflict, okay? That's a subject of war. When it comes to self-defense, I'm 100% in favor of self-defense. Someone attacks you physically, if they attack you emotionally, if they attack you psychologically, spiritually, whatever, if they're attacking you and trying to tear things down, well, then you defend yourself. But you better make sure that you're sure-footed in truth first. I don't believe. I watched that movie, Sound of Freedom, and I love that he uses phrases. Some of the phrases I like: God's children are not for sale. Great. Never trust a pedophile. When he's getting a pedophile going from a short term of punishment to a long term of punishment, actually busting him for harming a child. All that stuff. It's like, people, I don't know. I don't want to go in too deep to all of it, but when your nation's under attack, when your family's under attack, when there are bad people trying to do bad things, even though they paint them to be as good things in the world, then we have to stand up against those things. No question about it. And if you're not sure whether or not where you stand is good or bad, well, God has been around a long time. That's where your moral foundation can and should be. So instead of trying to figure out your own morals, you start looking at any religion. They're very, very similar when it comes to morals. But beyond that, just remember that conflict in small doses has everything to do with what I talked about today and yesterday. I hope that helps you get to a deeper level of connection with other people, especially the people that are close to you, so you can keep your connections and your relationships strong instead of separating, so that you can get to know each other on a deeper level instead of running away from the struggle that it would take to get connected on a deeper level. All right. I love you, world.